It's my pleasure to welcome the MD and CEO of Frontier Oil, Engineer Solomon Dada Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, 2001, your company was formed. 2015, it's still alive. First of all, how long did it take you to find oil?
The marginal field program was about fields which were in the possession of the IOCs, and they knew there was something there.
Oh,
but
okay.
within their portfolio, it didn't rank very, very high.
Too little.
So the federal government harvested this from the IOCs and then tendered it in a very transparent and competitive bid process.
Okay.
In my view, the most competitive and transparent Nigeria has ever held to indigenous entrepreneurs such as myself, and we bidded for the Ukwo field, and thankfully we won it. But guess what? We actually thought we were bidding for an oil field. And many years later, we found that we had a gas field with very, very little oil. But again...
You're not complaining, are you?
I'm not I never complain. What I do is I make the best of whichever situation I find myself. As you said, I think that the Ukwo field coming into production is a testimony to the success of the federal government's first marginal field program. And I think that more programs like that should be held, because we've proven that Nigerians can actually do things that hitherto people thought we couldn't do.
Okay. Now, who are those behind Frontier Oil?
Oh,
of course, there's yourself as the CEO.
Frontier Oil, first of all, I'm proud to say it's a 100% Nigerian company. Okay? Formed by professionals such as myself in 2001 in response to the federal government's encouragement that indigenous people should participate in the upstream oil and gas sector of the industry. And we have a very broad base of shareholders, nearly about 30, nearly 40 shareholders, all Nigerians, and we're very proud that we're a wholly Nigerian company.
The Central Processing Facility has achieved 1 year of production.
Yes.
What has been the results in Nigeria?
Well, first of all, we're very proud. That Central Processing Facility was commissioned, the only project of its type within the E&P space by an indigenous company that was commissioned on the 14th of August last year by the former president and the Minister of Petroleum at that time. But we had actually commenced commercial production in January 2014.
Commercial production
of gas.
Gas.
And I think that's very, very important.
For domestic use or for industrial use?
Fully for domestic use. And as we sit today, since January 2014, we've been able to produce gas for domestic use only. We do not export our gas. We're 100% committed to producing gas for domestic consumption. We started off with a trickle of gas, 10 million standard cubic feet a day, and that was in January. By December, we were only doing about 20-25 million standard cubic feet of gas a day to a single power plant. But guess what? As we sit today, we're producing gas from the Ukwo field to 3 power plants. That is the Ibom power plant in Ikotobasi, Akwa Ibom State, the Calabar IPP in Cross River State, the Alauji power plant, the second biggest power plant in Nigeria, in Abia State. So from this small little marginal field, we're powering 3 of the power plants in Nigeria, which is helping to generate 8% of the power generation today as we sit in Nigeria. In addition to that, we're supplying gas to the Notori fertilizer plant at One, River State, which means that we're helping to generate fertilizers that farmers will use for the food we're going to consume next year. And we're supplying gas to the Lafarge cement factory in Cross River State, in Calabar, Cross River State, which means we're helping to contribute towards Nigerians owning their own homes and houses.
Indeed, you sound very proud.
I am proud. Proudly made in Nigeria. By Nigerians.
Couldn't have been easy. What are the challenges that Frontier Oil has faced, especially since it opened this central processing facility?
I mean, you're absolutely right. It wasn't an easy journey. You can imagine that whilst today gas has value in Nigeria, 10 years ago, 6 years ago, gas had no value. People
had it in abundance.
And I had it in abundance. People used to throw me out of their offices in Houston, Calgary, Toronto, New York, London. You're Nigerian, you're talking to us about gas? Out. But today, people are coming and knocking on our doors. We want gas. And my answer to them is that, okay, let's see what we can do. Right now, we're pretty sold out, but we have the capacity. We're looking for more gas. If we can prove up more gas, we will certainly accede to your request.
Are you implying you'll be up to take up another marginal field?
Certainly. I believe that we've proven that, first of all, we can develop marginal fields successfully. I think we're one of the class of 2003 that have done so successfully. We're actually the only marginal field that has developed a gas field. Everybody else got oil fields. We got a gas field, and we faced it head on, and we brought it into production. So we've got this huge track record of monetizing stranded gas fields, and we're ready to leverage that experience.
I was going to ask you what you did with the little oil and the field.
We're producing it.
You're producing it.
And I tell you what,
who's buying it?
I tell you what, everybody was convinced that there was no oil and you couldn't produce oil from the Ukor field. But guess what? We're producing oil from the Ukor field today against all odds, and we're selling it to ExxonMobil.
What would you say? Can you say the estimate, the amount of oil you have in that field? Can you say?
That's very difficult to say, because the Ukor field is primarily a non-associated gas field, and you've got a tiny little bit of oil. But the point is that the little bit that we do have, we're managing to produce cost effectively. And of course, we're very aware of the falling oil price. As you know, oil price is going south on a daily basis. And the minute the Iranians bring on their oil, and start to increase from about 2.5 million barrels a day now to the 4.7 million barrels a day capacity they have next year, we're going to be in trouble.
But it's going to fall even further.
It's going to fall even further.
Let's look at something.
So we have to gird our loins and be prepared for some tough times ahead.
Austerity measures.